back, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our second episode of OK Mom podcast. And welcome if you're new. Thanks for joining in. I'm Vanessa, and this is my madre.
Hello.
We do this podcast where we talk about nothing.
All the things.
So, Lissa, how are you feeling this week? How's everything going?
Oh, it's going fantastic now. I've had like the best day so far. It's been fantastic.
That's awesome.
And you?
I'm doing better. It's been a double-sided sword this week because on one side, we released the first episode. This is Sunday that we're recording this. So on Wednesday, the first episode came out. And I was super friggin' nervous about it. And it did pretty well, shockingly.
Yeah, it's new. It's a whole new thing. So there's so much insecurity that just comes along with it.
Yeah. It was surprising the feedback, I think, because in our minds, I mean, we've recorded a bunch of these and we were just kind of joking around, just being us. And I didn't think anyone would be interested in listening to us just being us. So it was super amazing. But then on the other side,
something really nice about the people are listening. You have nothing better to do? Come on. You got to find something better than us. But that's okay. I mean, we're happy that you're with us. And I was just saying, what's harder than doing a podcast? Doing a second podcast. There's so much pressure.
There is. The pressure is definitely on. Because you don't want to go too heavy because we went a little heavy in the first one. You don't want to make it about nothing because then why would anyone want to listen? So we've been kind of racking our brains about what we want to chat about today.
No, I'm in such a great place right now, which I can't say I've actually been here in over a year. Like it's taken me a year to just, and you know what the key to this has been that I got into my basement and I cleaned it. And I say that in such a shifty way because the 21-year-old doesn't know I was down there cleaning his room. And I'm sure he would be offended. But I got to my laundry room. I've been just like putting baskets by the staircase. And he's been like nocturnal. So overnight, he's been doing laundry and then, putting the basket back up on the top of the stairs. So it's like, ooh, the little laundry fairies. But that also means that I haven't been in the laundry room. And it's been months. So I finally went down there. I was horrified, of course. And then I just started hauling 400 pounds of garbage out of there. And it was just like, oh, this is so good. It feels so good.
I'm really grateful to not be in that state of parenting yet, where if my kids leave anything anywhere, I can hand it to them and be like, sink, and they go and dump it still. So I can't imagine the joy that brings you, but I'm very excited for you.
Oh, it's like so refreshing. It's like spring cleaning, even though it's only, February. It just, with the sun shining and there's snow on the ground and, taking the garbage out of the house and then starting to smell a better smell from everywhere. Like it just, and I don't think I'm obsessive because I let it go for a long time, but I'm just taking sheer joy from that whole experience.
Well, that's good. I think that's wonderful. That gives you like a fresh start to the week too. It sets you off in the right direction.
Oh, is Sunday the beginning of a week?
I treat it as such. I use Sunday as like my refill, refresh, get everything situated. I mean, truly, I haven't had a proper weekend in I think about 3 years working from home and raising babies from home. That my job is pretty flexible. I still work it on weekends if I can. So I don't actually know what a reset to a week looks like, but I try to frame Sundays as such where, you get your meals ready, you get your laundry done, you make sure everything's clean for Monday morning.
Oh, okay.
Do people do that? I don't know. I can't be the only one that does that.
No. In the olden days when we all, left the house for the week, every day, to go to a job. Yeah, we were all, vacating the house. I've been working from home for a number of years now. So you can work all weekend when you work at home. Like there's no day, night, weekday. You just work when you have to, and you try not to when you don't have to. So it's kind of, I think for me, it all just mushes into one, except right now there's a whole bunch of great Sunday shows. Like there's so many great shows tonight, and I have to record them all because I want to see them all. So you got Stan Tucci's doing this whole series on Italy. The Great Canadian Baking Show's back. Oh, there's a couple others that I want to set the record for. But anyway, it makes TV fun again. It's been a while.
I'm a broke bee. I don't have cable. I live off of streaming services. So I never know. I have to, even for This Is Us, I watch it on Wednesdays and I avoid the internet pretty much all day Wednesday until I can watch it. Because on the CTV app, you can watch an episode of something for 6 days, but it's not on until the day after it airs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So This Is Us, Grey's Anatomy, I'm always a day behind. And even with Big Brother coming back, I'm going to be a day behind again. So I live my life dodging spoilers and have been since early 20s because I refuse to pay for cable.
So you cut the cable, and I'm sure most people who are millennials are doing television that way anyway.
I think so. I think it's been that way for a long time. I mean, I used to use websites where I didn't have to, I'll just say it, I used to stream illegally and watch TV. It was a thing. I know, big gas. I do believe now that I'm paying for so many streaming services that I could afford cable, but I would still want access to Netflix and things like that. And I retired from my stepfather's Netflix, I think 4 years ago, and now have my own. Wow. And I'm returning the favor. I know, I grew up. And
yes, I need some of your Disney Plus because there's some stuff coming up there. Yeah, okay.
Yes, that was what I was just about to say. Now he asked me for the sign in to Disney Plus, and so does your son. And I was like, I'm the giver now. This is amazing. It feels good.
That's the epitome of sharing is, your stuff, your content.
Yeah. And so now I feel like a real adult. I feel good about it. And I still refuse to pay for cable because I don't care about daytime TV.
No, daytime is kind of a wash. I don't usually watch it. I don't usually have the television on until the evening. And it starts usually with CNN at dinner because, well, for 4 years, that was pretty much entertainment. The clown show. So, yeah. But I mean, it was, you can't look away. It's like a disaster. There's a train out of control on the track, but it's filled with clowns. So you want to laugh the whole time. Yeah, it was just
having flashbacks to 2016 when the world had a clown problem. Do you remember that? When there was just creepy clowns just stalking people and chasing people, and they were everywhere.
Well, that sounds like your worst nightmare.
It was. And it's burned into my brain that anytime someone says 2016, I'm like, ooh, and just have flashbacks to it.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway,
I would talk to your therapist about that.
I have many times. It was truly
I'm not
for
laughing
someone
because you talk to a therapist. I'm not laughing at you, by the way.
No, you're laughing at my fears, which is fine. It's normal. Your husband does it too. Because being afraid of clowns is a really strange fear, especially when I had a bedroom as a child full of clowns, which I think is where it started.
It wasn't full of clowns. It was full of balloons.
There was a clown on a swing set in front of the window. So when the wind blew at night, it looked like it was swinging, which in a normal universe, to someone who's not neurotic like me, is probably a cute thing. Look at that cute little clown swinging in the window. But to me, it was it's coming to life and it's going to stab me in my sleep.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I didn't realize you were being traumatized. Sorry.
That's okay. I don't trust. If you're going to dress up, a grown man dressing up in makeup to be around children, there's just something that doesn't sit right with me for that one.
No,
I just don't
100% agree. No, I 100% agree. Because, yeah, I think it's just like creepy and scary. But not because I think they're going to murder me. Because there's got to be something wrong with somebody who needs to. Yeah, okay. We won't go there too far. But, yeah.
Things to stay away from. Write it down. Trump and murderous clown.
I think I might have a fear of clowns starting.
Yeah.
Can you catch that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's contagious. Don't tell your husband. He will consistently post killer clown photos on your Facebook and giggle about it. But, keep it deep down, buried.
Okay.
That's where all the best fears go.
Yeah, right. Never to be faced. Right.
No.
Just passed on to your children and your grandchildren and No, we shouldn't ever do that. That would be really bad. So, how was your week other than that?
It was challenging. It was definitely a challenge. My partner Rory was working 12.5-hour shift. And I am at home with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. I have a day job, which I'm very grateful is very flexible, but it is also a priority. I have a small business that I try to run, which has just been, I don't even think I've posted on Instagram or my blog in about 3 weeks. So it's kind of falling to the wayside, and I'm frustrated about that because I have a lot of ambition with that and a lot of ideas swirling around that I want to get done. And I just simply don't have the time when it's a 12.5-hour day by yourself with 2 young children. So there's been some frustration there in just things that I want to do and just simply can't, and accepting that. I mean, this morning we were texting about starting this, and I said, I just need to have a coffee and a shower. And as you can see, because we do this through Skype, so my mom can see me very clearly, I have not showered because my children were in such a good mood that I just wanted to play with them for an hour and just be really present with them. And I think that set the day off on a better leg for me because it wasn't, here's all the things I can't get done. It was, I'll do those in time. I want to be in the zone with my kids and just enjoying time with them. So that kind of overshadows the frustration of the week, but it was really tricky. It was really challenging. But then again, I put out the podcast and so many people are saying such great things that I'm like, how I can't even be, hard on myself or in a bad mood because look at this amazing thing we did. And people are actually liking it, listening to it, and eating chips. My favorite thing. They're eating chips while they listen. We found my people.
Yeah. Coffee and chip.
Honestly, if I could, I would all day live off of it. But my heart.
No, watch your heart. I think there was a study or something recently where they talked about the fact that you can keep eating chips and you keep getting that same sense of satisfaction. And that's why we keep eating them and eating them and eating them, because you're just satiated. You're just so, that's the right thing for right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, it's about the mindless crunch, and I'm a salty person. I'm salty in all ways. Attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I'm watching something on TV, I have to put them in a bowl because I'll just mindlessly black out and come to at the end of an episode and be like, where are all my chips? Who ate them?
Yeah, mindless eating. I think, it's like the 12-hour days and, lack of motivation and all that stuff is much more temporary than we let ourselves think about. I think for, having a partner doing these extra shifts, it's because he can. And it's, an opportunity. And yet the other stuff, I think we've all been demotivated. I think you are not an exception to the rule. I think you're pretty normal for everybody right now. And that's why I am so surprised at my energy today. Like I just can't, it doesn't mesh with my experience over the last 6 to 12 months.
I will say, for those who have been following, is that Mercury got out of some kind of retrograde.
Whatever.
Because,
wow.
Yeah, it just happened, I think, or it is happening now. And it kind of like lightens everyone if you're into that kind of stuff. But I do want to mention that I am very grateful for the fact that we are still able to work. And if 12.5-hour days are the hardest part of what we're going through right now, we're very blessed. And I recognize that because not a lot of people are able to work right now. A lot of people are very concerned about their finances. And I mean, with everything going on, even if just looking at Texas, like it's devastating. I don't know if you've seen the videos about it, but
yeah, it's awful.
Horrible. So I don't want people to think that I'm sitting here thinking my life is awful because my partner is working.
No, I don't think they do. I think, I'm asking you, how's your week? You're asking me. And I think it's good to be honest. And, you've talked about that a little bit, that, you are really grateful for your kids. And I think that's amazing that you were able to stop yourself and go, they're in a good mood. I want to be around these little people right now. Mm-hmm. I can have a shower anytime.
Well, yeah. Almost. I think that's kind of like a mom thing because most of the moms I know, they're like, oh, I don't have time to shower. And before having kids, I was like, what? There's always time. They fall asleep, But even when they're sleeping, then you're catching up on all the things you didn't get done. And like, it's a hard cycle to be in. But for those moments, like I treasure those little moments where they're both in a good mood. They're not fighting. They want to be playing with us. And like all four of us as a family unit get to be on the floor, rolling around, singing songs, doing so. Like I hold on to those moments because on the flip side, when they're screaming at you, you're like, remember the playing, loved you on Sunday. It's okay. you got to treasure those, and they happen.
Yeah, because it's all going to turn around in about 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. There's a window.
And I do want to talk about the fact that because you're a winter bluesy person, I'm a winter bluesy person. I imagine many of us, especially in Canada, are winter bluesy people because we don't get the vitamin D through December to March, April.
Oh no, it starts in November, like right after Halloween.
But at least you have Christmas. Like usually the joy of Christmas and the music and looking forward to the anticipation of Christmas kind of holds you, and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and a bunch of other holidays. They hold you to something. Like there's something to look forward to. And then you have New Year's and then you're like, okay, resolutions. We got this. We're going to stay motivated. And then somewhere around mid-January, I find until probably mid-March, there's a good 2 months in there where I just cannot. I can't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I hear
you. Doing this podcast has been kind of like a renewal of creative energy and motivation. It's been kind of nice to have something to be like, okay, this is new. It's being received well. We get to connect once a week for an hour with no babies. I get to talk to an adult.
Well, you get to talk to me.
Yeah. I'll take it. It's fine. But no, it's refreshing. I haven't had a February where I've felt this wonderful in a long time. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, that's a strange thing.
Mm-hmm. How are you feeling motivationally?
I have come out of a very deep slump, but I haven't emerged completely. I'm still feeling very shut in and, not going out enough, just getting fresh air, not partying. I just want to get out sometimes and walk, but I found for a long time I was resisting. And the other day I had to walk and I felt so much better. And I thought, why am I torturing myself? Why am I depriving myself of a little bit of joy and energy? And I thought, it's because you get so mired in your slump. You know, you just, okay, I'm here and I don't want to get out of it yet. I can't see my way out of it. And it can be, you know, a level of depression. It can be whatever, just lack of motivation. Hurts me. Like it just feels awful. And sometimes I just stay there and can't see my way out. And then you get this little gift where your son leaves the house during the daytime. And you're like, what? Like,
I know, things I can do.
I know. It's ridiculous.
How does it feel having all your dishes back?
That's part of the fun is hunting down all I found one of I have these little bee glasses and they're my favorite. They have the little Napoleon bee and they're kind of, I love them. They're yummy. And I found one in his bathroom under the sink in the cupboard filled with maybe detergent of some sort. And it was kind of caked onto it. So I thought, heck no, took it out. I found 3 glasses. I found one of the cereal bowls and about 14 pieces of cutlery. Nice. And not in one place, right? He's very good. Yeah, he's very good. He makes sure
it's a talent. He's like a little scavenger.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a little squirrel.
Well, and it's interesting because you were exactly the same.
I was just going to say, this is not a rag on little bro kind of situation because I think this is just like a teenager, early adult thing where we just take dishes.
Yeah, and it's just you two. I'm pretty convinced.
No, I think other people in the world have done this before. But we're not new.
Okay, but
creating a trend.
I mean, you follow the breadcrumbs to the basement and you find every package. Like there's a garbage can down there, but there's nothing in it.
No, the garbage doesn't go in the can. It goes all around.
Oh, yeah.
I will say, though, is that through my life, I have moved away and moved back into your home numerous times.
Yeah.
And there was something about returning home that it triggered. I don't even know. I don't know if it was depression, trauma. I'm not sure what it was, but it was just like I just couldn't. And it's so funny because then anytime I would get an apartment, if you or Jay would come by, it would be like, whoa, this is clean. You do your there's no dishes in the sink. There's not dishes everywhere. Your clothes are put away. And there's just something more self-motivating about having your own place when you're not an adult living at home. I find like I just regressed every time I would come back. So I worry for Daniel that that's kind of what he does. I'd like for him to spread his wings, but whenever he's ready, you got to be ready for it. And he's not working right now because of all the
pandemic
going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
The panorama.
Yep. So we're always in the house together all the time, but we don't see each other, which is, okay. But there's stuff, growing. Okay. I just have to share this one fun fact. Behind a speaker under 4 boxes of things, tucked in behind the wall, like behind that against the wall, was 2 Christmases ago. I thought it would be fun to get him a Star Wars gingerbread house. And it's like Star Wars, but it was one of the Millennial or something. But it's just, decorate your own thing, stick it together, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
It was partially decorated and still in the box for 2 years. I was like, no.
Oh, no.
And I threw it out.
Oh, no.
I did. I wasn't going to leave it. Oh, come on.
Well, the good news is it's not like it was juice or something that would rot. It would just go stale AF.
Yeah, it was. And no mold or anything like that. It was just like gives you kind of pause to like, what are we eating? Like, gross.
Yeah. It's like when you find McDonald's fries 3 months later and they look exactly the same and you're like, I put this in my body?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Gives you pause for sure.
But that was sort of like, it is like going on a little bit of a hunting expedition. So I really enjoyed it. Sorry, Daniel.
So sorry. Putting you on blast. It's okay. In our mind, only 2 people still listen to this. So it's fine. We don't anticipate many people focusing in on this podcast. So I do want to go back to, I know we said no teaching, but I do have a little bit of a teachable moment of something I learned recently when you were talking about the motivation to going outside and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you ready for some learning? Can I learn you?
I can be learned.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
So this is an interesting thing that I was doing for the past week is I signed up for a free Bob Proctor online Facebook training session, I would say. It was Monday to Friday for an hour from 10 to 11 each day. And they would go on Facebook Live. So you could have it on and just kind of let it play. And there was one thing that really stuck out to me that I want to share with you because I think it's really interesting. And he was talking about the baseline of people when it comes to fulfillment and their purpose and like motivation. So essentially, if you think about a plane going from, say, BC to Toronto, before that plane even leaves, they have a flight path. And once the plane is in the air, if they deviate flight path, it automatically corrects and goes back onto that path, right?
Okay.
Because it was predetermined that that was their path. And Bob Proctor was talking about how people have a subconscious path that we've predetermined for ourselves, which can be applied to success, to motivation, to weight loss or gain, a bunch of different little things in our lives that we predetermine for ourselves. So say, for instance, you wanted to lose weight. You decide, okay, this is how many pounds I want to lose. This is how I'm going to do it. And you start off with your path, but because of our motivation and because of who we are in our own baseline, we're used to our weight being a certain way. So a lot of people, if they can't shift the path to make it a successful one, will revert back as they start to lose weight. And I found that really interesting because I know you're a lifelong diet searcher. And I found that really interesting that it's a subconscious thing in our mind that we have to address before doing something, because otherwise we're just setting ourselves up to fail. Did I explain that properly? I haven't really thought about this before chatting about it.
Well, okay, what I think I hear you saying is that we have a predetermined set of ideals or whatever, and you're giving an example of weight, and we would love to be at one certain weight, but it can deviate. And especially if we're not in the right mindset, it's pretty destructive. Like we could probably make it worse and keep gaining instead of setting your mind to it.
Yeah, you see the scale start to move and you see it going in the direction that you want, and then you subconsciously correct yourself because you don't believe that you deserve that level of respect for yourself or anything. Another example he gave was children in school, where they come home with the report card and they got a C in math. So then the parents say, okay, we're not going to do the fun things that we usually do. Instead, we're going to study math. So the child studies a lot, gets their test, does a math test, gets the test back, and they've got an A. But they don't feel like an A student. And so they don't continue on that path. They then correct themselves to be the person they think that they are or what they deserve.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
that's heavy.
Yeah. So if you're talking to a child or you're talking to friends or something, if you treat them as a less than or like a C student, that's what they are. You know what I mean? Especially when they're really young. If you say to your child, like, of course you can do this. Why couldn't you be an A student? Of course you can. You're intelligent. You're clever. You have the strategy to get there. You know what you have to do. You just have to do it. And it can be applied in all ways of life, right? And especially in success and purpose. That was what the training was about, was purpose. And a lot of times what people will do is they'll be motivated and they'll say, I'm going to try this new thing. Like, for instance, us with this podcast. And then you reach a level of success with it and you think, I don't deserve this. I'm not supposed to have this success. I'm not supposed to be known for this. I can't do this. Mm-hmm. And then you fall off and you go back to not doing it because that's your baseline. You don't think that you deserve that level or higher.
Wow. So how did he suggest you correct something like that?
Well, I think you have to take the course to get that. I can't give away all this. No, I'm kidding. Hashtag not sponsored.
One of those rabbit holes like, hey, we've discovered the cure for, and then there's, just
click through and give me your credit card.
And at the very end, it's like, yeah, you're going to have to find this, pill, and you're going to have to pay for it.
No, essentially figuring out kind of why you are this way. And a lot of the time it's a subconscious thing that has been learned from a really young age, that we're all so very hard on ourselves. And we're also very, like, when we talk about imposter syndrome and saying this, I'm not supposed to know this. I'm just faking it till I make it. And the follow through of things are really difficult, especially when you don't know what you're doing. Like, for instance, YouTubers, I imagine, had no idea that it could be blown up into something so big. When you think of like the large YouTubers that started 10, 11 years ago, they probably would never think that they would be in like a $5 million home now. And it's the same with people who start blogs or podcasts or just anything that's new.
Oh, are we going to get a $5 million home from doing this?
I better. Why else would we be doing
that? Okay.
Duh.
All right, I'm packing up now.
I've been packing. I'm ready. For those of you who don't know, I live in basically the tiniest house ever. It's like a tiny home, just a little bit bigger. So I'm ready for my $5 million house. I'm good for it.
Okay. Well, and you are entrepreneurial and you are motivated and you're studying success and prosperity and learning how to put your mindset in the right place. So I think that's brilliant. I've never had that entrepreneurial side. I've always been too fearful. So I think it's amazing that you're doing this. I just look at you and go, whose child are you? I have no idea. Like, this is so different.
See, the problem is that I don't like people and I don't want to work for them, if that makes sense. I would like to make money. I would like to find success and be successful, but I don't want to be an employee anymore. Right. I never fit that role. I think I did it well, especially when I was doing, ironically, reception and was basically a sober bartender for people. That's what receptionists really are. And I dealt with a lot of people and I appreciate a lot of people, but I don't want to work for them anymore.
Yeah, okay, I get that. Jay's always been like that. And I've always been involved in jobs where you're working with a team of people for the most part. And always loved that. It was always very social. So, yeah, but some people would say TV is not a real job. So, yeah, it's true. We had fun and we got some money from it. Anyway, he's a quite the guru, I guess, Bob Proctor. He sounds like he's been around for a while.
Yeah, I think so. There was a lot of really interesting parts, and then there was a lot of parts where I kind of had to make myself listen a little bit more because he's teaching what he's learned. So he's teaching things that he knows and then things he's learned from other people, which isn't his original. There's a lot of teaching going on, and it's been a long time since I was in school, so even the hour just focusing in on it really hard was like, oh boy. And there was homework, which surprised me. And much like in my college and high school years, I didn't do it. But I did have some takeaways. I'm not selling this well. Not that I'm trying to sell it.
No, I hear you.
That one part was really interesting to me where truly we are our own worst enemies in things, right? We are sabotaging ourselves to a certain extent. And it's the same with when you look at the cycle of success. A lot of people, when it gets hard, they drop off. They don't want to do it anymore. And to find the true success is to get through that, right? When things get like, for instance, January, February for my Etsy shop it's like a ghost town. And that's normal because of, the build up to Christmas, everyone's buying stuff. And then you have your lull, which is what goes up must come down. And I prep for that. I know that. But this is the time where in all of the Etsy groups, people are like, I'm closing my shop. No one's buying from me. And it's like, no. Push through. Another season's coming. Everyone gets motivated again. Everyone recoups from Christmas. And then they start shopping again. And it truly depends on what you're selling. But any business has a lull. Any business has their down month. And it's very easy to say, I'm not seeing results. I'm done. Instead of accepting that, no, this is just the cycle and you just have to push. Keep going.
Wow.
I'm so wise.
I do admire that, though. I do find you wise. And I like that I like that you've picked up, this newfound knowledge. I think that's great. And I think it's important that people keep learning. I think that I'm learning about neuroplasticity and how you can start doing something and you're getting really good at it. And then your brain just sort of it tunes in to what you're doing and doesn't work as hard. So you're supposed to change what you're doing so that you're trying something new to get your brain engaged again. So I have a ukulele and I've been threatening to learn it. I also got a wonderful Sudoku book from Daniel, which I use in the bathroom all the time. So I'm constantly doing puzzles. And I found that you can hit a wall, when you're doing something like that, where you kind of know that you're going to get through this particular level. And, even if you push yourself to the next level, you should be actually turning around and doing something completely different so that your brain is pliable and plasticky and working. So I'd go from crossword. Yeah, it's a word.
Make your brain like silicone. And then you'll be really good at life.
But your brain grows. Like it's an organ. And that's the neat part is that some people would say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you actually should, because the longer your brain is being exercised, the better off you are. And we have huge capacity for learning. We just don't use most of it. And and I remember, mentioning to Jay something like, hey, I think I'm going to learn how to edit. And he said, oh, you're too old. Well, no, he didn't say I was too old. He said, no, you'll never do it. I thought, wow, great encouragement.
Hey, if you want to practice, you can edit these podcasts. That'd be great. I can,
but no, I'm talking about the physical, you learning how to edit video. And I ignored what he said, but I've still found that I'm not motivated as much as I thought I was to learn it. There's other things I want to do, and I just think it's great. Now, I still work for a living, right? I'm still employed and not retired or anything yet. So, I mean, you got to juggle all of that stuff too. being a grandmother, being a daughter, and having a mom in long-term care. Like there's a lot of demands on your time. So I decided that I needed to find more time to do things that I want to do because life is too darn short.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
So, yeah, and that's why I wanted to do this with you because it's a chance to, chat, learn, not learn. No learning.
We're not learning or teaching. It's not happening here.
No advice.
Mm-mm.
And advice free.
We're not qualified.
Right. And speaking of not this, my hall pass was on Saturday Night Live last night.
Was he?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you want to share with us who he is?
Regé-Jean Page. He's from Bridgerton. And yeah, he
very yummy.
Exactly like my husband.
Oh, why? No, you can't do that to me. Oh, man. Okay, so here's a fun fact about my mother traumatizing me. She does it often. No, I thought he was so yummy. You can't equate him to my stepfather because then I can never look at him the same.
Well, don't worry. I mean, it just makes life more interesting for me and it traumatizes you. So it's a win-win.
All right. Who's someone that you love that I can ruin with a celebrity? That's a hard one, but that he is very yummy. And now I'm super. No. Ugh. Ugh. I'm so mad at you right now. I can't even explain it. So when I was in high school, all my friends thought that you were like the bee's knees because you had married a good looking man, and they would all have crushes on my stepdad. And it was so gross. And so like the amount of people who'd be like, let's hang out at your house. Is Jay home? And I'd be like, like I can't. Because the problem is that we have almost like an amigo relationship. He's not like a father figure to me. He's more like a friend. Yeah, like a big brother friend. And you don't tell someone that someone's family member is like hot. I'm triggered right now. I'm so upset. So to note, can't watch Bridgerton again, and you love him, so that's great. Could you stick with the guy from IT? Because I never watched that show.
What? Oh, Moss? Oh,
yeah,
the IT crowd. He's so cute.
He looks so much like that guy. Can't he just be that guy and not like the fancy pants from the very sexual show? Okay,
so let's merge those two together. So you've got Moss from the IT crowd who has a part in his afro and big nerd glasses, and he's the quintessential nerd. In real life, the actor is so lovely and so smart and so funny, and I can't remember his name. And Regé-Jean is really fit and, in really good shape, and he's charming. And when you see him off the show, he's hilarious. Like he's just a really, neat guy. And if you put those two together, you get my husband.
Lucky you. I can't. I have nothing to say now because I'm like, so here's a fun fact. I was watching Bridgerton just from hearing about on TikTok all the women who are like, watch Bridgerton. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And Rory saw it was a period show and was like, no, I'm out. I can't. But since I was a teenager, all of my favorite books are period romance novels. So this is like my bread and butter, right? This is me seeing all my books come to life with the dresses and the carriages and the hairstyles and the balls and the dancing. And during this time, Rory was watching his own shows in the bedroom, and he pops in to see how everything's going at the very start of the sex montage.
Right.
He walks in and he's like, so, what's this show? Oh my gosh. And I was like, you're going to have to go. Like, this doesn't involve you. This is me and these guys and my softcore porn, apparently. You're going to have to leave. And I mean, not Shonda. Quite as embarrassing. Oh, love Shonda. Love, hate Shonda because she's hurt me before in my Grey's loving. But it truly was like, it was almost like a parent had walked in. Like, I was like, oh no, he's busted me. I can't look.
Well, yeah. I think Jay showed up when I was watching one of the episodes and he was just like, what? Like, oh, just go away.
Yeah. I'm enjoying this and I can't make eye contact with you right now. You're going to have to leave. Yeah. But it is a very yummy show. I like it.
Yep.
I've heard the books aren't great though.
Well,
don't come for me if you love them.
I've never read a period romance novel except maybe Jane Eyre and more of the classics. So I'm sorry, I'm not into that genre.
I'll send you some Judith McNaught. She's all about it. And the best part is that all of the books have something to do with each other. Like, they've got little cameos in each other's books once they become the Duchess and things like that. So it's very, very interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how does that help neuroplasticity?
I don't believe it does. I think that you jumped to SNL and your hall pass. That's how we got here.
Well, and I said, yeah, like, not that we're on topic, but hey, I have to tell you.
And then you traumatized me, and now here we are.
Yeah. So it's time to say goodbye.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How do we do that so fast?
Well, thanks, everyone, for watching us. Or no, what are we doing?
You had one job.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. We hope you didn't learn something and that you will watch Bridgerton. This episode of Lissa and Vanessa and OK Mom has been brought to you by Manscaping. Have you seen the ads? Oh, because it really does exist. And on Smartless, my favoriteest podcast with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, the guy from Will and Grace, Jack. They do commercials and they read them. And it's all about, shine up those balls and blah, blah, blah. And, wouldn't it be better? It's so funny. So, okay, I can leave that in.
Okay, Mom. Thanks for hanging out with me. Did you have fun?
I did. And,
I had fun.
Yeah, let's do this again.
I think we should.
Okay, bye.
Okay, love you, mean it.
Love you, mean it. Bye.